The Danish Prime Minister's told Trump to stop the threats about Greenland. Do you agree with her?
Well, I'd stand with her, and she's right about the future of Greenland.
Right, so Donald Trump wants to buy Greenland again, and Denmark's basically told him to jog on. But here's the thing. This isn't just some eccentric billionaire window shopping for islands anymore. This is the President of the United States drawing up shopping lists that include sovereign nations. And frankly, the whole situation is more bonkers than a parliamentary inquiry after a lockdown party. Stick around, because this geopolitical car crash is about to get properly weird. Oh, and before we dive into this absolute circus, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Trust me, British politics might be chaotic, but when America starts eyeing up Danish territory like it's on Rightmove, you'll want notifications on for this level of madness. So, let's set the scene. Denmark's Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, has essentially had to tell the leader of the free world to back off. In a statement that radiates, "I cannot believe I have to say this" energy, she's urged Trump to stop threatening to take over Greenland. And yes, you heard that right, threatening. Not suggesting, not discussing, threatening. It's like watching someone at a dinner party insist they're taking your house because they like your kitchen tiles. Trump's been banging on about Greenland for years. He once floated the idea of literally buying it. You know, like you'd purchase a second home in Cornwall, except it's a massive Arctic island with 56,000 people living on it who have their own government and zero interest in becoming the 51st state. Back then, people laughed it off as peak Trump absurdity. Turns out he wasn't joking, he was just warming up. Now here's where it gets properly sinister. Trump gave an interview to The Atlantic right after the US basically kidnapped Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro in what can only be described as an international smash and grab, and said, "We do need Greenland, absolutely. We need it for defense." Defense, as if Denmark, a NATO ally, has been hoarding Greenland like a dragon sitting on treasure, while America shivers defenseless in the cold. Greenland's Prime Minister, Jens Frederik Nielsen, didn't mince words either. He called Trump's comments disrespectful, which in diplomatic speak is essentially telling someone they're being an absolute muppet. When you're linking Greenland to Venezuela and military intervention in the same breath, you're not having a civilized chat about strategic partnerships. You're making threats. And frankly, threatening your mates is generally frowned upon in international relations, much like serving instant coffee at a state dinner. But why is Trump so obsessed with this frozen rock? Well, turns out Greenland is basically geopolitical gold. Its position between Europe and North America makes it prime real estate for ballistic missile defense systems. Plus, it's sitting on absolutely massive mineral deposits, rare earth elements that America desperately wants, because currently China controls that market like they've got a monopoly on Park Lane. So, in Trump's mind, annexing Greenland solves two problems: military positioning and economic independence from Beijing. The only tiny issue, Greenland isn't for sale. The people who live there have made this spectacularly clear. They've got autonomy under a 2009 agreement with Denmark and could technically declare independence whenever they fancy. They don't want to be American. They want to be Greenlandic. Revolutionary concept, I know. Now, Denmark's response has been pitch perfect. Frederiksen's statement was essentially diplomatic for, "Have you lost your mind?" She pointed out that the US has no right to annex any of the three countries in the Danish kingdom, which feels like something that shouldn't need stating. But here we are, living in a timeline where apparently it does. And it's not just Denmark pushing back. France jumped in, with their foreign ministry reminding everyone that borders can't be changed by force, and that Greenland belongs to its own people. Which again, wild that this needs saying out loud, but when America's out here treating sovereign nations like items on a shopping list, apparently someone's got to play teacher and remind the class about basic international law. But here's my favorite bit, the UK's response, or rather the lack of one. Government Minister Mike Tapp went on Sky News and got asked 3 times whether it would be wrong for Trump to invade Greenland. 3 times, and 3 times he dodged it like he was Neo in the Matrix. His eventual response, "This isn't for me to sit here and talk about hypotheticals." Mate, the President of the United States is openly discussing annexing Allied territory. That's not a hypothetical, that's a Tuesday. It's peak British diplomacy, isn't it? Caught between our historic special relationship with America and our NATO obligations to Denmark. So we just mumble something about not commenting on hypotheticals and hope everyone moves on. It's like watching someone try to stay neutral in a family row by suddenly becoming very interested in their phone.
Here's the thing that makes this whole saga properly concerning. Trump's already shown he's willing to act. The US just snubbed Maduro, and immediately one of Trump's inner circle posted an illustrated map of Greenland in American flag colors with the caption, "Soon." That's not banter, that's a threat dressed up as a meme. And when Denmark's ambassador to the US has to respond saying, "We expect full respect for territorial integrity," you know things have gone sideways. This isn't normal great power politics. This is something newer and more chaotic, a world where the rules feel increasingly optional and where America's president thinks manifest destiny applies to other people's countries in the 21st century. So there you have it. Greenland doesn't want to be American, Denmark's told Trump where to stick his annexation fantasies, and Britain's doing that thing where we pretend not to notice the fight happening right in front of us. Cheers for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.